and heroes. Gonna tell you about pros and heroes. Gonna tell you about
comic books, costumes,
facts, boots,
and other stuff.
In this week's issue, Bat-Hombre.
Welcome into Bros, Foes, and Heroes. I'm Zach. Wow, I am also losing my voice, but I'm also joined by the sometimes masked, maybe once upon a time mustachioed, but always Mr. Mike. Mr. Mike.
I don't know if I don't think I ever just had a mustache.
I had a mustache once.
Did you?
Yeah, I lost a bet.
Oh, really?
I was so Michigan State.
Yeah.
Is my favorite college basketball team. I'm a Michigan State fan.
Okay.
They could either be doing really well and be in the Sweet 16 by the time you're listening to this, or they could have already lost.
Sure.
The tournament's going on underway right now.
Well, that's the way sports works.
That is the way sports works.
Sports.
But when I worked at the radio station, I was so confident one year about how good they were and their chances of at least making a long run. Like, I'd watched them play a lot. And they were a really good team. But the tournament is the tournament, and upsets happen. But still, I was telling everybody, this is at least a Final Four team.
Sure.
Like, I'm telling you.
Sure.
And so I made bets with everybody. They were like, even if they're just a Sweet 16. And I thought, this is easy. Sweet 16, nothing. They lost in the first round. They got upset in the first round.
Maybe
maybe
they
the
lose
second.
to?
I don't remember who it was this year. Granted, they have a knack for doing it. You remember the year that George Mason had like a really deep run?
Yeah.
They upset Michigan State in the first round that year.
Yeah.
So, like, the Spartans have a knack for that. But so I had made bets with everybody. Like, I owed somebody like a case of beer. That one was easy to pay.
Sure.
One of them was, though, that I bet my co-host at the time was that I would shave everything off but my mustache because he thought that would look so funny.
Yeah. Instead, you just look like
and
a cop.
It looked bad. I did. I always tell people that I feel like I looked like, what was it, Taggart off Beverly Hills Cop?
Yeah.
With the
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I felt like. But so that's the only time I've had
banana in the tailpipe.
Yeah, there you go. The good old McGilla Gorilla Special, I think is what they call it.
Is that what they call it?
I don't know. That's what I call it.
A McGilla Gorilla Special?
Yeah, you ever watch McGilla Gorilla?
I did watch McGilla Gorilla and the often knocked
Squidly
imitation. No. Great Ape. Grape Ape.
Oh, Grape Ape.
Yeah.
That's all he could say, right?
Grape Ape.
Yep.
Yeah.
Squidly
That's
Deadly,
always fun.
Jabberjaws. This was all like Hanna-Barbera, right?
That's rough.
No, McGilla might have been earlier. Wally Gator, Top Cat.
No, all terrible.
Huckleberry Hound.
Terrible stuff.
You don't like any of this?
No.
I always enjoyed.
No, they're all bad.
So one of the cartoons that I enjoyed, man, we get off on so many rambles. You know what? We'll save it for later. But Laugh Olympics, Hanna-Barbera's Laugh Olympics.
Oh, I did like Laugh Olympics.
Yeah.
That was different.
Yeah, but I always enjoyed that. So what we have on today's episode, I thought about saving this for a World's Finest Wednesday because it's just a shorter little story. But technically, it happened in 1949, so it's it's technically a golden age
golden
story.
Age, sure. Yeah.
But that hasn't stopped us.
No.
Being correct hasn't stopped us from doing things.
No. That will never stop us from accomplishing our goals.
But I thought that this also worked for a good Monday issue after all because it's funny, and we have had a good long strings of just things we can kind of laugh at now.
Sure.
This is also something that I feel is slightly insensitive at times.
Okay.
Ridiculous and just kind of hilarious, even when it was not meant to. But I'm going to bring you a story of a popular character today from back in 1949, December of 1949.
Okay.
So I think it technically says December-January. So maybe this was the issue that took the character into the next decade, right?
Sure.
That character, you might ask?
Yeah. Who is that?
It's one of everybody's favorite.
Oh.
It's Batman.
Batman!
And I'm going to talk to you about Batman issue number 56.
Okay.
On this issue, the dynamic duo are in a swashbuckling South American adventure titled Ride, Bat-Hombre Ride.
Bat-Hombre.
Bat-Hombre.
Oh, very nice.
Man,
why do their horses look like they're made out of metal?
I don't know, because Robin never gets to ride actually be in charge of a horse. So it's weird.
That's probably a good decision.
Also, all those very pretty South American ladies, they never appear in the story.
I would think Robin would get a lot of chafing if he rode a horse.
Probably, especially because his little shorts.
I mean,
are
his
up so high.
little legs are all hanging out.
They are. Look his little legs
naked
hanging out.
leg.
His little
He's
naked
naked leg
hanging out.
boy.
So this is Batman number 56.
52 pages.
Yeah, we're only focusing on like 14 of them.
Okay. All right.
From December of 1949. The cover artist here is Dick Sprang, Charles Paris, and Irish Schnapp. Dick Sprang. Dick Sprang's also the
Dick
penciler.
Sprang.
Dick Sprang.
Oh.
Sprang.
I thought it was
Spring.
Spring. Dick
Like,
Sprang.
like he sprang something.
Yeah.
His wrist, probably from all the
Or
drawing
his
that
dick.
he did.
Sure.
It's his name.
Yeah.
We've
I get
covered a lot of people.
It's not
named
his
Dick.
name. Nobody was named Dick.
It's probably
might have been
Richard
named
or
Richard,
something. It's
but
probably Richard
not
here.
Dick.
There's a
Yeah.
link. I'll see.
If you name your kid Dick, you got problems.
He was born, Richard Sprang.
There we go.
But I mean, he did a lot of work.
Richard Sprang.
We've covered, I know, other comics drawn by
Okay.
him at the time, but he's our penciler, not only for the cover here, but also for the story. Our story of Bat-Hombre Ride is written by a man by the name of David Vern Reed.
That sounds South American.
David Vern Reed. If you want to know, I did a little research. I should do this a little bit more, just to add in little facts.
I like this.
This is his first publication, his first written story.
And last.
No, it's not, because 3 issues, 56, 57, 58, 59, 4 issues later.
He did Super Hombre.
In issue number 59, he introduces a character that a lot of people are very familiar with that he creates called Deadshot.
Oh, Deadshot. Yeah, the Will Smith,
Idris Elba
vehicle.
character from the Suicide Squad movies. Except his Deadshot wore a tuxedo, including a top hat and a domino mask. But he couldn't miss. Like, it was still the same.
Sure.
He just
I
had
kind of like that. I kind of would like a guy in a tuxedo and a top hat that couldn't
I'm
miss.
assuming that he dressed like that because that was like an act, probably.
Well, I get it, but I'm saying that would be kind of cool, honestly. I
I
would take that,
you
especially
would?
in like a James Gunn situation.
See, sometimes though, I know you would take it, but I think you run the risk on some of this of being a little too silly.
I'll take silly.
I like silly, but
We had the
not
weasel.
everybody
good
loves.
God, come on.
We love silly, but not everybody loves silly.
I love silly.
Let's round out of giving credit where credit's to do on this. Again, Dick Sprang is our penciler for the story.
Dick Sprang.
Charles Paris, our inker, and the editor, good old Whitney Ellsworth. So here, let's dive into Ride.
You know how
Bat-Hombre Ride. Our story.
you know how
today.
the Mormons have their rum? No, not the Mormons. Who is it? Who is this Rumspringa? It's the Amish, right? You know what I'm talking about? Rumspringa, where they leave their community and they go experience the world, and if they like it, they stay. If they don't, they come back.
Okay. No.
Like these Amish kids will go off and
guess-
they'll get
I mean,
hooked on
I've heard
drugs
of that. I
and
didn't
do all
know.
this stuff. Yeah, it's a real thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously,
they make
it happens a
TLC
lot.
shows about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing in the porn industry, but they call it Dick Spring. They do their Dick Spring for a little bit, and then they
Sprang.
come back.
Sprang. It's like past
Well, it's
tense.
afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah. So our story here.
God, that was a long way around to that stupid
It was.
joke. Yeah.
Kill him.
Oh my
Kill the
God! Look at
Bat-Hombre.
Batman. Look at Bat's horse.
That's not Batman. That is Bat-Hombre. As
yeah,
you
but
see
that
Bat-
horse.
That's Bat-Horse.
That horse is badass.
That is a badass looking
I
horse.
like
is
that
it not?
horse.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I'll take just the horse, please.
Hold on. What horse do you like more? This horse or the horses that you could get the paintings of from a couple weeks ago?
Oh no, I like this horse better.
Okay, this
Yeah,
horse
he's meaner
is cool.
looking. Look at him. He's
He
got
is.
those void eyes.
Yeah, no, they're very void eyes, but Batman always has
I
void
like how
eyes.
he's wearing like a fucking serape around his neck. That's the best. And there's a parrot.
We're
What
gonna
else
get,
can we stick in there?
We're gonna get to all this, Mike.
Where are the bales of cocaine?
This is gonna be it's culturally insensitive. It's Batman in the late 40s.
Wow.
But it's ridiculous.
It
So,
even starts. This is like nothing but a bunch of white guys, and it starts with "Salute." What does it say?
Amigos?
Amigos. What the fuck? Okay.
all right. So
Great.
our story starts off where there's a festival, like a parade going on in Gotham.
Yeah.
That's welcoming.
Because somebody won Monopoly.
Exactly.
That's,
Well, it
there's
is.
Uncle
It is.
Penny
That's
bags
Uncle
right
Penny
there.
bags, yeah.
Sure.
No, but real quick, just because I wanted to point out here, I guess to do this, I should also switch.
Yeah,
It
hard
caught
it
my
is to
eye.
draw confetti.
I had an ADHD moment. I switched out my thing here.
Yeah.
My Ninja Turtles comic
Turtles.
I have up there.
Uh-huh.
It's the haunted pizza. I just think that's
it's
hilarious.
The Turtles.
It's the haunted pizza. Anyway, I saw it in the corner while I was doing
It's
this.
very
and I had
nice.
ADHD
I
moment.
like
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah,
I
good
switch it
job.
up sometimes to
I
make
know,
it
I
look
like
like
it.
we have fancier sets.
Yeah.
All right. So our story.
I mean, You should for Bat-Hombre. I mean, come on.
That's right. I mean, this isn't just Batman.
No.
This is Bat-Hombre. So our story begins in
Does
Gotham.
hombre mean man?
It does. It's just
Okay.
Spanish for man.
Okay. I thought it was like slang.
No, I thought hombre was man.
Okay.
Okay.
Bat Chica? Is that
The
Batwoman?
or Batgirl?
Batgirl?
Yeah, because Chico would be boy.
Oh, my Lord.
So our story starts in Gotham. There's a parade for the visiting president of Mantigua,
Okay.
a tiny Latin American republic, also made up country.
Yeah. Oh,
So-
Mantigua's not a real country,
No,
huh?
it's not.
Oh,
well, I
who
don't
knew?
think. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's not.
Yeah.
Fact check me,
It
and I
isn't
will
now.
apologize to everybody in Mantigua. So
I don't
it
think they're
says,
listening.
no, probably not. Just like the Amish people aren't going to correct us
Nope.
on the.
Nope.
So as they're driving through, and he's like, "Oh, the president of Mantigua is just like, oh, this is such a great reception I'm getting here in Gotham." As he's like sitting here and like princess waving to the crowd, and Batman and Robin kind of are watching from a window. They're just watching the parade happen.
Sure.
And Batman
They got
notices
nothing better to do.
no, and Batman notices a guy in the crowd just like running, and he's like, "That guy looks like he's up to no good."
Antigua, but not Mantigua.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the guy who looks like he's up to no good pulls a gun on the president and says, "Die like a dog, Cameron. I, Felipe, assassinate you."
Believe it. I assassinate. Well, you have to call your shot.
That's the
I
thing.
mean, that's just,
but usually,
basic assassination.
Usually, you also have to perform the action too. You can't
Sure.
just say,
Sure.
Now, I would like to argue in this guy's case until we move on to the next panel and see that this joke is wrong.
Uh-huh.
I would like to argue he thinks they're playing a game. So he's just like, I assassinate you. All right, I win. Like,
Could be.
Right?
Could be. Or he's just a little quick on the quote-unquote trigger.
But no.
Where he's like, I assassinate you. Well, why wouldn't you say that afterwards?
Exactly. And
I
say your
mean,
name. I don't know.
Bam.
He
I
wants them to know.
assassinate you.
But Batman and Robin dive, and they just push him out of the way, and he shoots into the air. And they're
Perfect.
able to stop.
Killed a kid on the 10th floor.
Exactly.
Sure.
But,
yeah.
but this president is safe.
President of Mantigua's fine.
So later, in President Cameron's hotel suite, he tells them both. I guess he invited them, thanking them
Sure.
for saving his life, both
Sure.
Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
And he tells them about how, like, I've heard about you both, and I've dreamed of a day where my country would be able to have two guys as courageous as you, like our own Batman and Robin.
Come to my room and enjoy some fine Peruvian cocaine.
He goes, I would love nothing more than for you to come back to my country. And like, he goes, let me just tell you about my country.
So wait a minute. Okay, hang on.
Hold on.
So he wants to go back to his country and
have-
have somebody like Batman and Robin there. So if he's going to bring them back, does that mean he's got to find a kid, assassinate his parents, and then traumatize him enough to where he gets threatened by Mexican bats?
We got to
Is
speed
that-
it up.
Okay.
That's if you have time to do it organically.
I see. Okay.
You don't have time
All
to
right.
do that
Okay.
organically, so you
Okay.
got to speed
Okay.
it up.
All
You
right.
just kind of have to ramp it up. And he goes,
Just put an ad in the penny saver.
Batman, he's like, oh, thank you for thanking me for saving your life. And the president wants to tell him about
I
his,
guess it'd be peso saver.
his country, and tell him about how it's tiny, but it's beautiful, a land of rolling pampas and wild, majestic
Mm-hmm.
mountains, but that they lack for nothing except law and order, which seems to be a lot
That
to be
seems to be a lot of it.
a lot to be lacking.
Yeah.
But it says, for years now, my country has been terrorized by a criminal band, a member of which tried to assassinate me before your very eyes.
I assassinate you.
The leader of the band is a ruthless outlaw who is known as El Papagayo, which is the parrot in Spanish.
Okay. That's why he has a big parrot
That's why
on
he
his
has a
shoulder.
big parrot.
He's a parrot with a parrot.
Because of the parrot Toto,
You just don't drill down on this stuff too much because if you do, it gets very stupid.
that is his mascot.
Uh-huh. Toto?
Toto.
Toto the parrot.
Toto is El Papagayo's mascot.
Okay. I'm following so far.
Do you?
I assassinate
I
you.
mean, what kind of good villains exist if they don't have mascots
Sure.
or ascots?
I mean, look at the
mascots with ascots.
the
That's the real cause
Joker.
I can
He's
get
got that thing.
I don't know
Harley Quinn, maybe? That's as close as you get to like a mascot,
problematic.
really.
Yeah, but she was like a sidekick at
Yeah.
the time, but now
Yeah.
she's her own.
She's more like his Robin than
At the
she is a
time.
mascot.
yeah, at the time I'd
'Cause,
argue.
I mean, you certainly wouldn't call Robin Batman's mascot.
no, at the time when she was introduced, she was that like sidekick, like Robin.
Yeah.
Like she was a
Yeah.
she was the head henchman. Like she was over all the other henchmen. Like you could tell.
Hinch person.
Yeah, like but in the cartoon when they created her, like he had all the other Joker goons,
Sure.
and then like she was around more, and she
Goons
had a more
seems a little
important.
rough,
She
but
was the
okay,
Joker's
sure.
girlfriend. I mean,
Yeah.
I say that loosely because that was very problematic for her.
Yeah.
But now I think she has elevated and is a character and
So what
like
would-
an anti-hero all on her
So
own.
what would he have as a mascot? Like,
Joker?
The Joker.
Well, so like I would say like Harley Quinn has her hyenas. That would be mascots.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know about the
Joker
Joker.
doesn't have anything.
No. Would Penguin just have like an actual penguin?
Or
Here's the thing. He's named El Papagayo. It would be like the penguin having a penguin.
yeah, it's true. That's true.
So imagine
Joker having a Joker.
Imagine that Colin Farrell series that was really good.
Yeah.
And he just walked around with a pet penguin everywhere.
Yeah, I don't like that.
No,
Now if it was a cartoon one like from Mary Poppins, maybe.
So I want the Matt Reeves just very gritty like penguin and like world there.
Here comes
Yeah,
his
with
little,
the
here comes his little cartoon penguin
but
behind
he
him.
just like kills somebody and
but
he's
he
like,
he's the only one that can see him.
oh, that okay.
Yeah.
Hold on. But
Now we're
you're,
getting
now
somewhere.
you're getting into something good.
Well, it's kind
though.
of like The Boys, right? It's like noir.
Yeah, noir.
Seeing
when he
all
would
those
have
cartoon
those,
things
yeah,
coming after him.
Yeah, but that would be great. Like after he kills somebody, if he's like, "Come on, Maurice," and he like, and he just like, and he starts like doing his walk to the
Yeah.
car, and all of a sudden you see like the cartoon penguin just like sit there and just like waddle
Hey,
behind
we
him.
do need to give credit to that series, though. That was very good. It was very well
I
done.
still haven't finished it, but what I watched, it was really
Yeah.
good and very
I
well done.
did not like the ending where everything blew up and everybody died. But other than that, oh, you didn't finish it.
Yeah, I haven't.
Oh, damn it.
By the way,
Papagayo!
if you'll notice, I didn't edit out last time we had it. So
What,
HEB,
the drinks?
we're still waiting on the call.
Oh, yeah. Citrus Breeze. It's made of grapefruit citrus.
We'll talk about any of your products, and we'll slurp them down.
That's the sound it makes when you drink a Citrus Breeze. And then
So-
afterwards you go,
Citrus Breeze. Enter code BFE to get an even more refreshing
that's
breeze.
right. That's right.
So let me tell you about Mantigua a little bit,
BFE.
Mike. Yeah, or not BFE, BFH.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, what the hell is BFE? Bros, foes, evil,
evil.
Knievel.
Yeah, BFH is all about.
Sure.
So Mantigua, the president tells Batman about where he lacks for nothing. They're led by the pirate.
We lack for
And his
nothing but
mascot,
air and
Toto.
food.
Yeah. And we're kind of introduced to the parrot who sits there, and this guy, his
Just to the parrot.
the parrot.
I like
and
how
his
the
henchman-
parrot is the perfect colors of like those
Purple
any
and
of the
green.
Mexican serape kind of things
Kind
that you
of,
would
yeah.
see,
But his henchman Poncho comes and gives him the loot.
We've had Felipe, Papagayo.
I'm telling you,
Poncho.
it is culturally
Yeah.
insensitive.
Yeah.
So
Great.
but he goes, Poncho, you have the loot. And I'm not even going to read in the broken English like they wrote
Please
it.
don't.
I know, I'm not for sure.
Yeah.
And he's like, magnificent. Like, you're a real friend, Poncho. Real friend, man. You're like a brother to me. And Poncho's like, oh, no, thank you. Thank you, the parrot. Thank you. I appreciate it. Which I realize, and he goes, but as he's telling him about El Papagayo of how he can be so treacherous and cold-blooded,
Yeah.
the parrot turns on him and he goes, so, Poncho, you would hold back some of the loot? And he goes, for that, Toto has ruled that you die. And he shoots him. And then the parrot just goes, kill him, kill him. That's right. The parrot has told him how to execute this man.
Who was the guy that said his dogs told him to kill people?
Dog welder. No, that they.
The actual serial killer.
Oh, the actual.
What did like Son of Sam, that guy?
Maybe.
Berkowitz or somebody?
I don't.
Right,
know.
like that was
I'm not
his.
all up on my
That was
serial
one of
killers,
his
man.
defenses. That was one of his.
Defenses.
His was like well the dogs told me to do it or whatever.
I don't remember that.
You ever seen that who's the Ryan Reynolds movie where he's a serial killer?
Mm,
The Voices.
but he can hear it. Yeah. That's a solid one.
Yeah, it was kind of like that. It's a very good movie.
I think it's kind of underrated.
It is very underrated. Yeah, because he made it when he was pretty young.
So, and then we're just introduced. It shows the other one begging for his life, and he's like, "What shall we do, Toto? Should we kill him?" And he's like, "No, not now." And so he spares his life because the parrot.
The parrot
tells-
says no, not now.
Yeah, the
'Cause
parrot
he's
says
having
no,
a
not now.
full-on conversation with his parrot.
Yeah, and then the president tells Batman, like, seeing you save my life today revived an old dream of mine that I had, that you would come down to my country and train someone to imitate you, a Bat-Hombre who would rid us of El Papagayo of all time.
Sure.
So he wants Batman to come down to Mantigua and essentially train a Batman for the country of Mantigua.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. This is
But
a
he's
solid
not,
plan
he's
so
not
far.
Batman. He's Bat-Hombre.
Bat-Hombre. Sure.
So he's like, that's
What
the.
is what's Spanish for bat? I mean, wouldn't you just call it that? Why would you say Bat-Hombre? Wouldn't you say like El Bato Hombreo or whatever?
I don't know. Bat in Spanish is what I was gonna look it up.
Yeah.
Um.
But I mean, doesn't that make more sense?
Yeah. No, it would.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you would have to do that and then do.
There's no
hombre
Spanish
with
word
him.
for bat.
It is, and my Spanish is rusty, and I'm not
Yeah.
going to.
No Spanish for
just
bat.
completely.
Maybe that's
Mer-
why.
It's Murcielago.
Merciel? No, that's where the president lives.
Murcielago.
Okay, that's too long for bat. I
don't get
understand
it.
why they didn't do it now.
El Bate.
El Bate.
All
right.
Now that I have accidentally
Yeah.
offended everybody, I
Yeah,
apologize.
you didn't. You're fine.
Let me go ahead and go
We
into.
didn't do it. Google
It's
did.
not. It's not Bat-Hombre though. I get your point, and I agree with you.
Yeah.
It would not be unless it is just like there's actually a Spanish word for bat. I always like German when it comes to animal names. Have we talked about that?
No.
As I also then show off my terrible German, but like it's like turtle is like Schildkröte, which I remember because it's like it makes me think of like a shield, and like a squirrel is an Einkornchen because it makes me think of acorn.
Yeah.
But the best one, penguins in German,
Uh-huh.
Das Pinguins.
Das Pinguins.
Yeah.
In Spanish, Batman is translated as Batman with the same spelling and pronunciation. While the English name is often used directly in Spanish, the Spanish word for bat, as in the animal, is Murcielago. Murcielago?
It looks like Murcielago. but I know
Therefore,
that's
a literal
French.
translation of Batman would be El Hombre Murcielago,
the man
bat.
The man bat.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I love the first sentence. In Spanish, Batman is translated as Batman.
So that's
Thanks,
the thing.
Google.
Well, honestly, though, it is kind of like, why couldn't he just be like they have their own Batman?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why he couldn't.
Yeah.
Slightly different blue.
Yeah, it's just why are people getting? It's like when
Yeah.
people get mad that like Anthony Mackie's Captain America or
Uh-huh.
that Ariel was a black girl. Like it doesn't matter. He can still be Batman. You
Yeah.
don't have to make him Bat-Hombre.
Bat-Hombre.
Anyway, so he goes, I dream of training a Bat-Hombre
Sure.
and of having
God, who
somebody to
doesn't?
protect our country and rid us of the parrot. And he goes, this is a favor that I would ask of you, Batman, is that you train this guy and then help him maintain law and order. I'm an old man. He basically tells him, like, I would like to see this before I die. I'm not doing well. And so
No pressure.
and so Batman tells him, you know what? You son of a bitch, we're in. Hold on, let me go check with Commissioner
You
Gordon.
son of a bitch.
Let me go check with Commissioner Gordon. That's right. He wants to check with
Uh-huh.
Commissioner Gordon
Uh-huh.
before he goes in, and Commissioner lets him go. He goes, by all means,
Let me
Batman.
go check with my boss.
By all means, Batman, accept it. It's pretty quiet here right now. I mean, we can spare you, and your first visit would be a wonderful affirmation of our good neighbor policy.
Sure.
Who wants to be in a good neighbor program with Gotham City?
Chris Paul.
Well, that's just State Farm, isn't
Oh.
it?
Okay.
Anyway, Batman and Robin, Gotham doesn't need them. They fly out to this country.
Now it's quiet around here right now, Batman.
Yeah, as soon as he leaves and it goes to hell in a handbasket,
Uh-huh.
call back.
Uh-huh.
Shit.
Shit, he's Bat-Hombre in.
He's Bat-Hombre in.
I want to see how they incorporate this horse, though.
So you just saw it. That's it.
Yeah. I love the horse.
So when they arrive at what is the capital
Is the
name?
fucking horse blue?
Because they only have so many
There's
places.
a blue horse.
There's only so many
Yeah.
colors they can use to print. It's
Yeah,
49.
sure.
right? So they land in the Capitol and they're escorted to a car and they're taken to the president's mansion. And while they're there, the
It's
president
just a
tells
horse
them,
version of Batman's face. Is all it is.
just stretched it out.
Oh,
They put it in Photoshop.
ears, everything.
They put it in Photoshop and just stretched it out
oh,
back in 1949.
it's so good.
The president tells them, take all the time you want, gentlemen. All my facilities are at your disposal. And when you're ready to start screening your applicants, just let me know and we shall begin. They decide they want to get everything else.
Who is this dude in a wheelchair?
That's the president.
Was he in a wheelchair a while ago?
He was in the car, so you never saw his legs.
Okay.
Remember, he's an old man.
It was a bad trip.
It
I'm
was.
just saying.
That plane ride took a lot out of him.
Oh, I can't stand anymore. An 18-hour trip to Montego or wherever the hell I live.
So They decide they're going to get everything together first before they find their Bat-Hombre.
Why does he live in a tunnel?
No, they're finding they're finding a new Batcave.
Okay.
So that's the thing. Is he goes, first thing to do is to find a place of operations where our future Bat-Hombre will live.
Yeah, that's the first thing to do.
So Batman goes, this grotto is perfect, Robin, for another Batcave.
Grotto.
And Robin just points up above them and goes, yes, it's directly under an abandoned farmhouse. Our Bat-Hombre can live there.
What the
So they found a cave underneath an abandoned house.
It's abandoned.
To use for their
This
Batman.
guy runs the whole country, and they got to look for a place that's abandoned. Well, it's got a grotto. I mean, what do you want?
Maybe that's why it's been a dream, is because he's like, the government cannot afford a
Oh, look,
Batman.
and here's a horse. We found that.
For days, Batman and Robin set the stage for the new Bat-Hombre. And then he
They
goes,
didn't even have the guy yet.
no Batmobiles in this terrain, Robin. But this thoroughbred racer from the Argentine should be faster than any other horse around.
The Argentine.
The Argentine.
Okay.
Gosh.
Is that a guy?
A bat
Or is that
horse. Isn't that super? Shut the fuck up, Robin.
Robin, you always have such great insight.
But that's just like, and you're just like, gosh, a bat horse is
Golly.
that super. And I just feel like Batman just kind of looks at him like,
Why do I bring you places?
yeah, kind of. They always have that energy sometimes when he says things like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You can't sit still in your seat on the plane. You know, you always want a snack.
Isn't that super? Isn't that
Put
super?
some pants on, kid.
It was goldfish crackers,
That's
Robin.
right. That's right.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, so Batman is now back to talk to the president, and the first complication arises when the president Cameron throws open his collection of weapons for the future Bat-Hombre to use, and Batman, of course, he's like, no, he can't use weapons like this. Batman never fires a gun or uses a knife. I don't kill
Except
people.
when he does later.
I don't kill people, except which we covered from the very beginning. He's always killed
He's
people.
always killed people, yeah.
And he's like, but El Papagayo and his men, they're ruthless killers. Like, how are you going to fight them with their weapons? Don't
With
worry.
love and hugs.
Batman has a plan, and he goes, Bat-Hombre will use a whip. Because why not? And he showcases this.
Fucking Zorro.
It is. That's all it is. Bat-Hombre is Zorro in a Batman costume. But he shows them that, hey, I can whip it around this tree branch and fly around. And they're all amazed by that.
Sure.
But honestly, that is just panels that are honestly used for a callback.
Because nobody there in Montego has ever used a whip.
Never.
Nobody's ever seen it.
No.
Legends have been told, but it's never been held.
There's Batman. But who cares about Batman? The whip.
It's the whip. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder to leave that B on somebody's chest than it is a Z. Yeah. Damn it, I gotta start over.
Oh, my arm. All right, next.
Cursive? Why'd I choose cursive?
Later, having secured all of Bat-Hombre's equipment, Batman and Robin are ready to interview applicants. And Batman tells them...
Wait a minute. I have a problem with this process as well.
You have a problem with every process.
Where did they find these guys? And now all of them know.
I'm glad you brought that up, Mike, because I'm about to read to you one of the most problematic things I've ever read, and it's going to get worse. You ready for this?
Sure.
I completely forgot about it until you asked that question.
Sure, let's do that.
As they were flying in, you were asking about where are these people from? Like,
Yeah.
how are they finding them? And like, yeah. So as they fly in, we see speech bubbles. I can't tell. Batman says, the president decided it would be pretty hard to find another boy like you, Robin.
Oof.
So we'll just concentrate on a Batman, right? So that's also why they're only finding a
frankly,
Batman.
Robin, nobody needs you.
Yeah, that's what he kind of tells him. But then Robin replies, that'll be job enough. I understand he's going to parade the cream of the country's manhood before us
What the
to be tested for the job.
The cream of the country's manhood.
It gets worse.
Wow.
So essentially, the president has just surrounded up everybody. Because when they get there, it seems like you see all the crowd in the background. I guess some of that's for Batman's arrival, but also the president has kind of just rounded up the best people that he thought
Get in my grotto and show me your cream.
could be Bat-Hombre.
Bat-Hombre.
And then it says, I told you that because we're about to double down on
Make the horse look away.
the creamy of stuff.
Okay.
Says, and as applicant after applicant displays his athletic prowess before the critical eyes of Batman and Robin, Batman
This is
kind
just
of
gross.
Batman kind of leaves over to Robin and goes, "Remove his name too, Robin. He's failed to chin the necessary 50 times." Batman ain't doing 50 damn chin-ups. There's no way. I mean,
but the
he
bar's
probably
got to
is,
be, no pun intended. The bar has to be higher on this guy
but he needs.
because he's going to leave him alone. And he's got no Robin.
He needs Bat-Hombre to be better than Batman.
Yeah.
For days, told you we were going to double down. You ready?
Days.
For days, the cream of Mantigua's manhood goes through a grueling examination.
No.
Mike, again, I had to read the phrase and not crack up laughing.
Every sock we own is stiff.
Oh, man. Anyway, good. He knocked the gun right out of the dummy's hand.
Good job.
He's got excellent control of the whip.
No dummies will be attacking us.
You think that's going to be Bat-Hombre? No.
No, probably
But
not.
as time passes, Batman and Robin, they realize it's a hopeless task.
El Jocar.
Yeah. Robin is like, man, so many applicants here, and not one of them is good enough. If one is an athlete, then it turns out he's not a detective. And if one's a detective, turns out he's not an athlete. So Batman sits there and he goes, this will break the president's heart. I mean, there must be someone who's qualified. But then as despair turns to elation, as one of the last applicants passes all the tests with flying colors.
That mustache, man.
I know. He passed every other test with excellent ratings, and he's like, I think we found our guy. So later, Batman congratulates the successful candidate, a pleasant young man named Luis Peralta, in the grotto that is to be his future Batcave. And he's like, look around. This is an abandoned home. You're going to live here. But he tells him, like, we're going to start early tomorrow.
Congratulations.
And you're going to be
won a hole.
You're going to be Bat-Hombre. I'm going to teach you everything. But that evening, we show Luis on the phone, and he goes,
How is this guy supposed to live? Like, he's got no job. He's not a rich guy like Batman is.
we don't know. They don't
He
talk
just lives
about
in a
that part.
hole.
He lives in a hole. The government pays him, I guess. I don't know.
guess.
But Luis makes a phone call, and he goes, hello, Pedro. This is Luis. I fooled the Batman. I got the job.
Oh, no.
And then you see on the other side of the phone, bueno, El Papagayo will be immediately informed. He will reward you handsomely, Luis.
They're backloading.
And the next
not
morning,
good.
the treacherous Luis begins his secret training as Bat-Hombre.
That mustache
under
on
the
that Batman
unsuspecting
guy.
eyes of Batman and Robin. Yes.
That's insanity. Look at that.
That's kind of why I read this story, was just because of the look.
It's like somebody just went and drew a mustache on Batman.
Yep, it was.
Wow.
That's essentially what
I guess that's
Bat-Hombre
actually
is.
what really happened.
And he goes, Batman, the real Batman, goes to Bat-Hombre and he gives him a utility belt and tells him that you'll find this to be very helpful for everything. And Bat-Hombre, now that we know he's evil, can't stop thinking about evil things to, just double down on that. Because he's like, haha, after you've explained it to me, talking about the utility belt, I'll use it against you for crime.
He thought in his head the words,
Ha
ha ha.
Yeah.
That's right. Oh, look at them next to each other. That is the best.
They are. And he tells them, like, this is your belt radio. You can use it I use it to communicate with Robin. You'll use it to communicate to the police. And Bat-Hombre goes, you mean El Papagayo, you fool. Ha ha.
You fool. Ha
He does
ha.
ha. That night, though, Batman.
It says ha ha in Spanish.
But it doesn't. It just has like the asterisk.
It's just
the
asterisk at the bottom
just
says
there.
in Spanish.
That night, Batman hastens to President Cameron to tell him essentially that, like, hey, the good news about Bat-Hombre. And the president tells him, like, oh, I'm good. I was beginning to lose faith that you weren't able to find somebody to meet all that criteria.
It's been a day.
No, it's been weeks.
Oh, that's true, because he had to cream for weeks. To get it.
Yeah, he had to.
Yeah.
It was under examination, the country's manhood.
Let's examine your cream for the next week.
But now, the president tells him it is different. Now an old man can die in peace, knowing he has put his country on the right road.
Yeah.
And Batman tells him, yes, Mr. President, in a few days, your own Bat-Hombre will be hot on the trail of El Papagayo. Well, at that very moment,
And his cream of crime.
Luis and the evil Batman are hanging out with El Papagayo. And they're having so much fun, right? They're all drinking and having a blast that Toto the parrot even leaves El Papagayo's shoulder and goes and lands on Bat-Hombre's shoulder. But, oh no, that's... And the parrot points it out, or El Papagayo's like, look, even Toto's having a good time. And he's like, good work, Bat-Hombre, is what Toto tells him. But Bat-Hombre says, the bird's claws have torn my uniform.
He doesn't say that. What does he say?
He says, caramba.
Caramba.
But then he does say the bird's claws have torn my uniform. And then he's like, but
what a shitty uniform.
When he goes, yeah, that a parrot's claws will tell him. He goes, but what will I tell Batman and Robin? They will surely notice. And El Papagayo is just like, it's nothing. It's a bird's claw. That's all it is.
Don't worry about it.
Tell me you're attacked by a nighthawk. So the next day when he shows up,
a nighthawk.
And Bat-Hombre tells him, it was something, I tell you. That ugly hawk swooped out of the night and tried to make off with me, but I killed it quickly. So his story was,
I let it sit on my shoulder for a second, and then I killed it.
A hawk tried to pick me up and fly off with me.
Yeah.
This
wouldn't happen if you'd stay in your grotto.
All they asked him was, hey, how'd you get those holes in the bird claws on your uniform? A hawk tried to fly off with me?
Because I weigh 65 pounds.
Yeah. Batman thinks that there's something suspicious.
No, you think?
He can tell that he's lying, and he calls Robin over to him. Again,
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but again, world's greatest detective, this guy is.
So they basically tell Bat-Hombre, hey, go practice your whip skills over there. So Bat-Hombre I mean, that's what he's doing, though, is he's sitting there practicing whips.
Go and play with your whip.
Yeah. And,
we got cream.
And Batman leans into Robin, and he's all like, he's like, he's lying to us. Those marks weren't made by a hawk. They were made by a parrot.
You can very well tell those are parrot marks. Well, I mean, come on.
He does, and that's why Robin's like, are you sure they're a parrot? And Batman tells him one of the definitive characteristics of a parrot is the reverse fourth digit of the foot.
Sure.
Look at those claw marks.
Yeah. So no other bird has that.
So I Googled reverse fourth digit on parrot on Google.
Good.
Nothing came up.
Yeah.
The only thing, the closest
What's
that
only
I
in
did,
Antigua?
The closest that I did get, that the way that a parrot's paws are shaped, there's a name for it where it's 2 in the front and 2 in the back.
Yeah.
And it's a type of claw, like woodpeckers and parrots have the same type of claws where it's 2 toes front, 2 toes back. But I couldn't find anything about that. So Batman is also a liar. Batman's a terrible detective.
Well, I think we knew this.
Yeah. So convinced that some sort of treachery is afoot, Batman tries a surprise attack. And he goes, those claw marks on your shoulder were made by a parrot, Luis. We know where you've been. And Luis is just like, but you couldn't.
Dirty parrot lover.
He goes, but you couldn't. I covered my trail. I gasp. And Robin goes,
he says the word gasp?
Yeah, he does.
Nice.
And he goes, your bluff worked, Batman. His guilt is now evident. So they decide that they're going to tie.
So they kill him.
He's like, I'm sorry. Bat-Hombre goes, all right, you're on to me, but you dare not expose me. If Cameron were to learn of this, it would break his heart. You're going to let that old dying man know that you failed? And Batman's kind of like, he's right, Robin, but we can't let him go because he's going to tell people.
That's right.
So they tell him up, or they tie him up, and they take him to the one cop that they were told, hey, you can trust this cop. And what he's going to do then is Batman is going to culturally appropriate as Bat-Hombre. Because the president needs to see Bat-Hombre in action. If he told him there was going to be a Bat-Hombre, stop shaking that thing at me.
So he's going to go lie to the old man in the wheelchair and tell him that he is Bat-Hombre. He's going to wear a fake mustache to do this.
Hold on.
Okay.
So
where's my horse?
So, that's what Robin says. Let's face it, Batman. Luis was the closest replacement to a Batman we could find. Like, what are we going to do? And that's where Batman tells him, there's only one way, Robin. We'll keep Luis on ice here where he can't reach Cameron and tell him that essentially, like, he's failed as Bat-Hombre and I'll take over as him. So they drop him off at the cops. And then before he leaves, Batman pops in. And still later, Batman pays the president a surprise visit.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
What has this guy done to go to the cops?
Just he had drinks with a Papagayo.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He hasn't done anything.
He was going to be evil Batman.
Future crimes?
Yeah.
Is that what we're talking about?
He got arrested for future crimes.
Okay. All right. Good going, Batman.
Batman leans in there and goes, before I leave to capture El Papagayo, I thought to pay my respect, Mr. President. And the president's like, at last, our country has its own Bat-Hombre. Godspeed, Godspeed.
Godspeed,
because
indeed.
Batman is dressed up with a fake mustache. Here's the thing I would also like to point out. Bat-Hombre is a local, right?
Yeah.
Essentially, it's not written like that, but you'd have to think for the president to be fooled, Batman is a fake mustache and doing a very poor accent, probably.
He's old and feeble.
Yeah.
You know?
But
I assassinate you.
Here's the thing. While they were wrapping up Luis, Bat-Hombre, the evil Batman, they forgot to take his utility belt off of him.
If I've seen that happen once, I've seen it happen 1,000 times.
So he uses the utility belt to break out of jail. And he's going to
just put him in jail with this big-ass utility belt on.
And he breaks out with it.
Got it, sure.
Yep. And he breaks out with the utility belt. And then they go to, it says, where is it? So Batman and Robin are riding together to go to El Papagayo's hideout. I didn't tell you this. When they tied him up, they found in his back pocket that he had a map just to the hideout. Just in his back pocket.
Maybe he's just
so they took it and they also made a copy of it and gave it to the police, and they told him, like, meet us there. We're gonna go stop El Papagayo. Okay. So Batman and Robin are sharing.
That's the thing that's kept them from stopping El Papagayo. They just can't find him.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just telling you where the story's going.
Yeah,
it doesn't explain about all the other times to stop El Papagayo that have failed.
Yeah.
But they're riding together, and Robin has his hands wrapped around Batman's waist as they ride through the terrain. And they get to Jagged Mountain, and he's like, all right, the camp's dead ahead. Go down this side, Robin, and look for a trail so we can kind of come up on the other side and, like, sneak up on him. Well, while Robin's down there climbing, he sees that the other Batman has shown up, and there's a battle between the two Batmen. And one of the Batman gets thrown off of the cliff and, like, screams Goofy style as he falls off. Exactly. That's what I thought. As he's flung from up there. And Robin is like, no, Batman, is that you? And
they use my favorite arrows to point where you're supposed to read next, too, in that previous page.
And they come around, and it's there. He's like, oh, no, is it Batman or not? Well, sure enough, it is Batman. Oh, thank goodness. So Batman just murdered Bat-Hombre.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, he never kills anybody.
No. But he does tell Robin, well, Robin, what are you doing? Waiting for a streetcar? But as soon as the two of them are reunited very quickly, they're jumped by El Papagayo's men, and they're captured, and they're put in a tent. But their hands and stuff aren't tied up.
Sure.
Here's the thing. Later, the tent where they're held prisoner, if you look at them being held prisoner there, like, Robin's just sitting on a box.
Yeah.
And Batman is honestly lifting up the tent to pull stuff from outside. What has stopped them from lifting up and trying to crawl out?
This is like wrestling style. Where they put people in a place and they go, okay, you're confined now.
Yeah, they're like, oh, he's going to be there for the next move. Yeah.
I mean, it's a tent, for God's sakes.
But Batman goes, these berries in this curare bark give me an idea.
Excuse me?
Curare? C-U-R-A-R-E?
Berries?
Curare? These berries, yeah. And presently, when the dynamic duo is brought before the bandit chieftain, haha, this foreigner Batman would meddle in my affairs. Here, what are you doing? And he goes, and Batman is just throwing berries into the parrot's mouth.
Yeah.
And he goes,
that parrot drunk.
Just feeding your parrot some berries, El Papagayo. I'm very fond of parrots. Batman, I'm very fond of parrots.
That's a shirt right there.
That is a shirt right there. Oh, I feel like
if you don't already have the Bat-Hombre shirt, I mean,
or we've been on a roll here lately, or the Tim Batman Scissor Feet shirt,
Batman Scissor Feet,
or the Golly Hot Dog Rock and Roll Space
That's my
Satellite.
Favorite. I don't care what anybody
There was another
says.
one we had
Golly Hot Dog Rock and Roll
last week on the Jimmy Olsen one. I don't remember, but yeah. So if you want one, I think we should just do the panel of Batman with his, like, hands. He's just, like, throwing the berries like this, and it just is like, I'm very fond of parrots. And, like, that's it. Oh, man. Anyway, so Batman, who is very fond of parrots, if you didn't know.
He loves parrots.
He feeds them. And the other crew members, like, the nerve of him trying to bribe the parrot.
Oh.
Then El Papagayo asked Toto to pass the sentence upon Batman and
That's
Robin.
what it takes to bribe a parrot?
Berries.
Just some berries. You throw some berries at it.
So
some berries
Toto,
that are freely available everywhere.
Toto looks very angrily, looks at El Papagayo and goes, kill them. Give them whips. Make them beat each other to death with the whips.
Sure.
That's a very aggressive bird.
That is a mean parrot.
And El Papagayo's like, all right, terrific idea, Toto. Like,
here's the other thing. Parrots don't just say shit.
No.
They parrot things.
But no,
they repeat things. So at some point, somebody had to say that for them to know to repeat it. Give them whips and let them beat each other to death.
Moments later, and you see El Papagayo go on, start whipping each other.
Come on, I don't have all day. Get to beating.
But then Batman whispers, ready, Robin. follow my lead.
Uh-huh.
And they do that whip thing they showed earlier of how they can whip to a branch
Yeah.
and like swing around.
And they start throwing berries at each
But
other.
honestly, they whip the branch and they just climb up into the tree branch.
Oh.
Okay.
They did it.
And then they look
Genius.
down of the men who have guns who are watching them shimmy up into the tree instead of
Yeah.
shooting them.
Yeah.
And they whip down and like take the guns away from them. And then the two of them are able to
The
essentially.
guys are just stunned.
yeah,
They're like, oh my God, why didn't we think of that?
they're using whips.
They're using whips and branches.
Then, coiling their whips around branches of another tree, the amazing lawmen literally bowl their opponents over. So then the law show up. The completely disorganized bandits are no match for the
They've been in
Moreno
control of this
and his men.
fucking country
And
forever. But they're completely disorganized.
whips.
Yeah, 2 whips did it.
But the cops show up and everything's good. And they look at Batman and go, just before we left the Capitol there, we heard that President Cameron had died, but with a smile on his lips.
No.
Thanks to you, Batman and Robin, because he died knowing that Bat-Hombre was going to save his country.
Oh, so good.
And
Yeah.
Bat-Hombre technically did. It was Batman dressed up as him.
Yeah, I
He
guess
goes,
so.
his death was inevitable, I suppose. Robin and I can
Well,
take
yeah, as
solace.
everyone's is.
Can
but
take
sure.
solace in the fact that he died a happy man. Then, and next day, wing homeward in the bat plane.
Creamed himself to death.
We just have 2 speech bubbles, and this is how our story ends.
Uh-huh.
That was a neat trick, Batman, feeding the parrot those Cuerre-dosed berries and then imitating its voice to get those whips. But what about Cuerre?
Jesus Christ, are you kidding me?
Well, what about Cuerre? Isn't it a deadly poison? It is, except when used in careful, minute doses. Then it has a paralytic effect, and in this case, paralyzed the bird's vocal cords. The end.
What the fuck? Where's my horse? They never used the horse.
That's not true. They wrote it together once.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
And then
Of course they wrote it together.
he's there. Look at the side by side of him there. He does
It's
look
the
like
exact same person. It's just one's a horse and one's a man.
Oh, man.
Wow. Well, thank
So there
God
you
he knows
go.
how to chunk just enough berries at a parrot.
That is Ride, Bat-Hombre Ride from
That was terrible.
December of 1949.
I mean, there's
Batman
there's
number 56.
very little redeeming value in that one. You know, like some of them are just fun,
I mean, that
you
was kind
know,
of fun.
goofy.
It was fun and goofy, but
This
yeah.
one was more like, it just, so many swings and so many misses. Like,
Well, yeah.
again,
what,
these guys have been in control of this country.
Swing and hit baseball into the ground guy. What was
Well,
the last one?
you gotta throw your ball real hard into the ground.
Yeah.
But I mean, these guys were in control of this country forever.
All
The
it took
parrot said a bunch of shit that nobody's ever said. Barry stopped the parrot because they
they
paralyzed,
paralyzed
his vocal cords.
And Batman threw his voice to sound like a parrot.
Hey, give them the whips. Make them beat each other.
That's
what he
essentially
did.
Batman did.
Yeah, he's a ventriloquist
Nobody
also.
picked up on it. Well, it's more impressive because he doesn't have super ventriloquism like Superman
That's
does.
true. That's true. He's
Uh,
not able to shoot.
but here's what I love
Superman out of
too:
his
is
fingers.
Batman. Honestly, Batman failed at this. There is no Bat-Hombre.
That's true.
He just came back to Gotham and he's like, "Well, the old guy died. He died happy, but
We fooled him.
Yeah.
He's dead.
all right."
Wow. I
Peace.
assassinate you.
I don't know what you're gonna do with all that Batcave shit we left.
I guess
at the
again-
abandoned farmhouse.
well, it's in the grotto. Nobody will ever find it. I guess if you
Oh,
follow the if you start pulling on the thread enough.
You don't want to do that.
Well, no, I'm saying the disorganized guys who ran the country did go to Gotham and say, "I assassinate you." That's how we were first introduced to these guys. So it's not a big stretch.
We're probably
as to the fact
we're
that they're
probably not
fooled
dealing
by
with the
guys.
top brass on this. You're
Yeah,
right.
that's what
Fair
I'm.
enough.
That's
And they
Papa-
also they announced who they were before they even did it because he goes, "I'm Felipe. I assassinate you.
El Papagayo just ran out of steam. I think he just like fuck it.
I'm done." Anyway,
This bird's telling me what to do. I gotta do something else.
that was Bat-Hombre on this week's issue of Bros, Foes, and Heroes. Coming up on Wednesday, another World's Finest Wednesday. What it's going to be, I don't know. It'll probably be another ridiculous one like this because that's what you can always count on Wednesday.
I think we're going with Eskimo Batman
We
this
will-
next time. It'll
We
be great.
will dive into some serious stuff on Monday, and we have some stuff coming up. I have Wonder Woman's origin, like the first Wonder Woman and stuff for us to dive into.
Yeah, you
soon.
keep threatening.
And
me
I
with
have
that.
Dead End. I thought about doing like a whole couple weeks worth of Wonder Woman. I just
Yeah,
have
that'd
to
be great.
read stuff. That's the thing is you got to read to be able to talk about it.
Reading sucks.
But
Well, I don't do
Wednesdays,
it.
If you don't know, we also do a show on Wednesdays
We
that
do.
comes out too, and it's usually always it's always silly stuff. We'll
Brought
do
to you
serious
by
stuff on
Citrus
Mondays.
Breeze.
HEB, Citrus Breeze. We'll slurp just like that. No. I got to work on a new tagline. Anyway, thank you guys for taking the time out to watch and to listen
Antigua
as
cream.
always. Don't forget to watch on Wednesday. Next Monday, maybe Wonder Woman. We'll see. I do keep teasing Mike about
Wonder
it until I finally do it.
Remember when she used to spin around real fast and turn into Wonder Woman?
Linda Carter, yeah.
That's not a thing in the comic books, right?
No.
She never spun around real fast and became Wonder Woman, right?
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
There was one point in time where they like took her power away and she became like James Bond, like a spy. And It
Really?
was just not a good. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah. Denny O'Neil admits it was a bad move.
I
so
do really enjoy that invisible plane, though.
If you can find
I
the
told
damn
you about
thing.
that, right? Like
Yeah.
how I really liked the Super Friends invisible plane.
You know, maybe we should
Because
do.
she's just sitting there in
we
the air.
still did we ever find a clip? Did somebody put together all the PSAs of the Super
I think
Friends?
there are all the PSAs out there somewhere, yeah.
We need to watch those. And
Those
talk
would be
about
great.
Those.
I love that.
Oh, before I go, I told you I had Sergeant Rock news, and I was going to
Yeah,
save it for
please.
this.
I forgot all about it.
The rumor, and we kind of talked about it a little bit.
Sergeant Rock update.
So it's not Daniel Craig.
Okay.
The dude from The Bear turned it down. Jeremy
Yeah.
White Stevens, whatever.
He should not be Sergeant Rock. He's not big enough.
This
Who is
name is brought up, and
Idris Elba.
it's going to be interesting because he technically already plays somebody in the DCU, but it's in an Elseworld. It's Colin Farrell.
Huh. That's
Now-
not the worst thing you could have said.
Now, here's the thing. I've
Had you said Danny McBride, that would have been a little rough.
I
think.
very fully expect this to change multiple times before it gets made.
Yeah,
but
sure.
that's the last one I saw from a couple days ago.
If this thing ever gets made, I will be very surprised. This seems to be
We're gonna go
another
see
one
it
of-
together, though, right?
Oh, absolutely. This seems to be another one of those like Silver Surfer kind of things that is just almost unreachable. You know? I know. We'll see. We'll
All
see.
right. Well, that was that. Thank you guys, as always, for taking the
Not
time
my
out.
Silver Surfer.
No. Oh, man. Thank you guys, as always, for taking the time out to listen, to watch, to comment, to spend your
Yeah.
time. All of it. I can't tell you how much I appreciate
Make
it.
the four
very much.
fantastic again.
Make the four fantastic again. Make sure to check out all the other great podcasts on the Rogue Media Network of podcasts.
Papagayo says roguemedianetwork.com.
That's solid. Oh, man. And until next time, stay safe, everybody.
Hey, golly con, you guys.
Golly con, you guys.
Golly con, you guys.
Pros and heroes. Gonna tell you about pros and heroes. Gonna tell you about.
This has been a Rogue Media Network